Okay, welcome to this presentation by Specialist Education Services. So keeping yourself safe, why do we need to do this? What does it look like? And some strategies to help. So, being a parent. Becoming a parent is probably the biggest responsibility you've ever faced. Bringing up children can be the hardest job in the world. Babies do not come with an instruction manual, and each stage of development can present its own new challenges. So sometimes everyone assumes that we know how to be a parent, even though we face new challenges we've never encountered on a daily basis. It's okay to feel a range of emotions as a parent, but we need to be aware of how dealing with challenges can affect us and how we need to look after ourselves. So when the behaviour becomes challenging, so children can be extremely challenging, sometimes become physically or verbally aggressive, and this can cause us to experience a range of feelings, including feeling like a failure, feeling afraid, humiliated, being ashamed, embarrassed, upset, worried, loss, heartbreak, despair, and even isolation. So why is it important? Why is keeping safe important? It's important for both your physical, emotional well-being. You may struggle to sleep. You may also become unwell if you don't keep yourself safe. Relationships can become very strained, and if you work, that can become effective. It's very difficult when lots of things are going on that you can focus on your actual job sometimes, so that can be very difficult. So what sort of behaviours can cause us to be unsafe? So throwing objects, kicking, biting, punching. Sometimes children run away, particularly in public. A child has a seemingly dominant and controlling personality. They resist being told what to do for some or even all of the time. They try and take control of every situation. So examples of controlling behaviour can include dominating play with others, parenting type behaviour to both adults and children. So the child tries to take the parent role, intolerance to parent control and boundaries, and physical actions towards both adults and other children, possibly in the family. So it's really important to be honest about these incidents, which is not easy to do. You may feel you don't want people to know about your child's aggressive or very challenging behaviour, but it is important you're honest and you try and get some support from somewhere. Behaviour like this rarely goes away on its own and could even get worse over time. So it's important that you call upon any support networks that you may have, so people you can trust and you don't feel judged by when you need to ask for help. That's really important. Okay, so it's important to have, as we said, that network of family and friends, but also there are support groups out there that you can probably look up on the internet. There are parent and toddler groups. There's always parenting courses that are probably going on in your area, which you can join and may help you give you strategies to deal with challenging behaviour. You can always talk to your child's school or nursery or even childminder if they're very young. There's obviously the health professionals, so your GP or your nurse practitioner, and if they are at school, then there's also a school nurse as well that you can always talk to her as well. Okay, so what can we do? Who can we call to offer support? So it's also important that we always have very clear boundaries, and we stick to these, and we try and be consistent. Even simple ones, like when we come in the house, we take our shoes off, or we sit at the table to eat our food. If we keep these very simple and consistent, and we don't sort of change them, then children like to have consistent, firm boundaries, even though they probably kick against them as well. But also it's important to explain clearly why we have rules and boundaries in the home, to keep them safe. And also you can actually talk to the children if they're old enough, and they can suggest rules. Quite often, if you ask a child what they think the rules should be, they're very vocal on that. You can use consequences, but ensure they're appropriate for the behaviour, and have a stepped approach. Don't say, I'm going to take your tablet away for 6 months, because practically you're never going to do that. So maybe you might take it away for a few hours or a day, but not having empty threats don't really work. So let your child know that they can regain your respect and trust, and actually that it's not them that you don't like, it's actually their behaviour that you're finding really difficult. So try and work towards a positive resolution. So think of positive solutions to problems, but always, get help from other people and ideas. And there's lots of books on the market around these things as well, which you can read, or you can get audio books and things like that. So be consistent when putting new things into place, as they may resist to begin with, and they will resist, but actually don't stop doing it just because it failed the first time. Just keep going. And also decide on a safe space for either you or the child. Maybe when you're both getting really heated or upset or angry, find that space where you or that child can just go away for a few minutes to calm down. It's really important to make time for you as well. Being a parent is a difficult job, so it's important to get out and spend time with friends and family. Obviously to eat regularly. If we don't have energy, we're not going to be able to cope. Don't feel all the housework has to be done while the child is having a nap or out somewhere. Use that time to treat yourself as well. Obviously read or listen to a book or a podcast if you like to do that. If you do get some time to yourself, you can go for a walk. Getting outside, I think we've learnt a lot through recent times, that how important just getting outside, even if it's just in the garden, being outside is really good for our mental health. If we can find time to take up a hobby, or reconnect with a hobby that we used to do. Sometimes we cope with difficult situations by taking a break from it, by filling our brains with other things such as crosswords, or there's lots of games on phones these days that you can do. Jigsaws for some people, they're really good. There's a lovely book which you can share, particularly with under fives. 5 Minutes Peace by Jill Murphy kind of sums up how sometimes parents need just 5 minutes peace away from their children. It's quite a funny book, but it's lovely too. Having some time to care for ourselves and do those things, a face mask or having our hair cut or any of those things. Mindfulness and medication have become a really useful way, and there's lots and lots of things on the internet, lots of clips on YouTube that you can use, which are really good mindfulness things, and we don't have to actually think of them for ourselves because somebody else has done it for us. So thank you for listening.